Okay, shalom, 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 shalom. So you're not under the sounds of the voice of Kahan Tazadaq again. And quickly change the topic here. So what I'm going to go over with you today is ecclesiastical depot. And this
Okay,
would
shalom,
actually
shalom,
help
shalom,
you in
shalom.
various situations, numerous situations where you may have otherwise may have gotten railroaded. So since this is actually involving commerce, I want to start off by saying this is not legal advice. I do not offer legal advice. If you need legal advice, you can set up a competent counsel, and please be advised. Everything about the giver is strictly for educational, informational, entertainment purposes only. It's not to be taken nor misconstrued as legal advice. If you use any of this information, you fall flat on your face, it's your own fault because you didn't research the information. So, we all have duties and responsibilities in this world. Any kind of organization, if you're a part of that organization relies on you to carry out and fulfill your duty. If you fail to fulfill your duty, the entire organization may crumble. You got to eliminate your excuses in life. As long as you make excuses, you're never going to change. And denying that you're making an excuse is not a change. Some of you've made excuses of why you're not a secure party creditor. I can't afford it. I can't do this. That's too much to read. You refuse to burn the midnight oil. You are afraid of what's on the other side of the wall. You got to overcome that fear. Whatever it is that you've been making an excuse for, whether it's being a secure party creditor, whether it's getting Tazadaq's books and DVDs, or whatever thing that you are making excuses for, as long as you continue that excuse, that situation is never going to change. It's going to get worse, and it's going to break down, and it's going to shatter. So from this moment forth, you got to stop making excuses, because whatever it is that you desire, as long as you have that excuse, you're never going to ascertain that. Some of you for years have been saying, I want to be a secure party creditor. Or I want to study first. I got to do this first. So here you are 2, 3, 5 years later, and you're still in debtor mode. You make up reasons why not to be a secure party creditor. So I'm telling you now. Oh, I see Daryl was on this call, but he wasn't in the meeting. But nevertheless, if you continue to make excuses, you deserve to be where you are. If you continue to make excuses, you don't deserve the best. If you continue to make excuses, you will not ever be what the Creator intended you to be. The only distinction between winners and losers, they both fall, Tariq Mack, but the loser, he falls down and he stays down there with the weeds, with the other losers in life. But the winner, when the winner falls, Taish, the winner gets back up. He may travel a little more distance. He might fall again, but he gets back up. And he goes again. And he gets back up. And he keeps doing that until he accomplished the mission. So, with that being stated, the key to winning is consistency. To keep trying. No matter what the naysayers are saying around you. But I'm going to tell you, man, success is a lonely journey. You're going to pass a lot of corpses on that road, Will Sims. You're going to pass a lot of corpses. Many dead people, they died mentally, right? They died spiritually, that try to do what you're doing, but they couldn't accomplish it because they didn't have the willpower. because they lost that desire. So you'll see a lot of courts on this road to success. They have all kind of excuses. But keep in mind, my good brother Will Sims, anyone can make an excuse, Ryan. Anyone can make an excuse. That's easy. We can always come up with an excuse, Zebulon, why we can't do it. But there's very few. There's an exceptional few that tell themselves, despite what, it has to happen. I got to accomplish it. Because excuse, what does that make you, Zebulon? It makes you average. And if you haven't figured it out by now, being average is failure. It only equates to failure. So I try and push most people beyond their perceived notion of what they think they are to something greater. Most people can't endure that. You know what they do? They get mad, they quit, they run away time and again. They can't endure. Only a few can endure, man. People get mad, people get in their feelings, they get in their emotions, they break down. Tazadaq, I hate it. But when they look back, they say, yeah, man, I appreciate what you've done, man. Because if you didn't push me, I would have gave up. And this is how you got to be on this journey, man, with commerce. Because believe it or not, man, Taish, we're all swimming in a sea of commerce. And the de facto has created what is known as commercial warfare. It's commercial warfare. Every time you think you're getting a little bit relief, you taking your head under the water because you're trying to miss these shots that they taking at you. The ships that's coming over your head. But when you come up, there's something else coming straight at your head. So you got to dive again. So either you got to learn how to swim in the sea of commerce or you're going to drown. You're going to drown. So why not learn how to swim properly? And the way to do that is to become a secured party creditor and remove yourself from bondage. And I don't mean just simply filing documents, but learning the language, learning how to move as a creditor, not as a debtor. Debtors hate. Debtors love to hate. Creditors win. Debtors love to argue. Debtors love the art of disputation. They love to argue. Debtors love to come up with reasons why they can't do anything. It's too much, too difficult. See, that's a debtor mind state. The creditor looks at that situation, he analyzes it, and says, "This is what I got to do." And you know what, man? I don't like debtors, man. Because if you're not careful, they will bring you down right there where they are. And those are the weeds in life, man. Those are the people, because they're on the bottom, they want to pull you back down. They don't feel comfortable when you start soaring. They see you start studying, you burning the midnight oil, you staying up really late, you starting to learn certain terms, legal terms. You got yourself a Black Lord's Dictionary. You got my books, you got a couple of the DVD seminars. You learn it. You're on the move. See, when you was where they are, it was like they was at a stage better than you. You say, you know what, man? I think I'm gonna get with Tazadaq, man, become a secure party creditor, man. And they tell you, yeah, man, you should become a creditor. Get out of debt, man. It's gonna change your life. But then when you get to their level, they start looking at you and say, oh man, what's going on, man? You don't want to hang out anymore, man. The only thing we'll do is study, man. You just keep reading Tazadaq's books and keep going to that channel, man. Because your success, when you start to get successful, you say, yeah, man, I read one of Tazadaq's books and I discharged some debt. I got rid of a student loan. I cleared my credit. See, when you start to do that, that's when the hate comes in. They start to look at you. Now, I'm talking about your friends, the people surrounding you. They start to look at you differently. Now, you think you're better than us. I'm telling you, I'm speaking from experience, because this is what they said to me. In the beginning, it was all right. Yeah, Tazadaq, yeah, I think you should do it. But when they seen me just isolate myself, cutting everyone off, man, everyone that wasn't a positive force in your life, I'm going to tell you, King, you got to kick them the freak out of your life, man. Anyone that's not positive, man, they are a debtor. Debtors love polemics, the art of disputation, and all debtors suffer from aphasia. They have literally lost the ability to clearly comprehend words. They understand words, meaning they stand under the authority of the de facto, but they do not comprehend words. They suffer from aphasia, which means they invite it. So I'm going to tell you something, man. Some of you may have a court case coming up, right? Some of you may be dealing with child support. Like my brother T, right? A couple of you may be dealing with that. You might be dealing with situations like my brother Tariq in court, dealing with a woman that wants to manipulate his children. Ecclesiastical depot. So let me give you some knowledge, right? Let me give you some right knowledge, right? And this is right knowledge. This is how it's work, right? And the way that we own it is we study it again, again, and again. We must research it again and again, man. Repetition is the key here. When I be telling people to watch the videos 5 times, no less than 5 times, most of you don't do that. If you do, you would have this stuff down. We would have a team of creditors by now. Anyone that's a member of Tazadaq and a lift toll, meaning the beginning and the end, Tazadaq, and the APBC, Anti-Police Brutality Commandos, all of you should strive to be creditors. Why would you still want to be a debtor? A debtor is a slave. Let me tell you something, man. An ecclesiastical depot, for those of you that do not know, it's a valid form of depot, and therefore, deed and contract whereby, should I say, a living soul first express, affirms, and conveys certain rights to another party, who then lawfully bind upon proof of receipt in accordance with the canons defined under Article 33. Do you understand? The word pole comes from the Latin pollex, meaning thumb. What do they ask for? They ask for your seal. They ask for your thumbprint. The most powerful seal in the world, Young G, is your thumbprint. That's the most powerful seal in the world, Ryan. Your thumbprint, brother. So an ecclesiastical depot is permitted to be issued when an inferior, now listen to what I said, an inferior Roman person, like Donald J., right? He's an inferior Roman person. He's an Edomite, right? So you could use an ecclesiastical depot when an inferior Roman judge or prosecutor rejects the rule of law and seeks to assert an untenable and illogical position of superior rights over divine law. Take, for instance, when we were discussing last night with the good brother Dewada, right? About the state of Massachusetts saying that you need a license, which is begging for permission. When you ask for permission, that means to plead. It means to beg. So the state of Massachusetts saying that you need a license to carry a firearm. License to carry, LTC. Is that not in direct opposition to the Constitution? So now, a creditor will look at that and say, well, I'm a creditor for educational purposes. That doesn't apply to me. I'm one of the people. That applies to your citizens. It applies to the corporate constructs of the state of Massachusetts. But does it apply to the American nationals in Massachusetts? Au contraire. What about the supremacy clause in the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution of the Republic, Section 2. Any statute, code, rule that conflicts with the Constitution, it is not law and it is void on its face. And I'm paraphrasing that. So this is how a creditor thinks. A debtor, he consents. He consents to the statute and he pleads for the permit. That's not what creditors do. Or a debtor will argue. A debtor will argue all of the reasons that he should have the permit. Because a debtor is a slave. The word debtor is synonymous with slavery. The debtor is the slave and the creditor is the master. That's in the Bible. Anyone know that scripture? The debtor is a slave. The creditor is the master. It's the same way in this system today, man. And they know this. They know the system because they got it from our laws, statutes, and commandments. Book of Yeshaya, Isaiah 24, verse 2. And the people will be like the priest, the servant like his master, like the maid, her mistress, the buyer like the seller, the lender like the borrower, the creditor like the debtor. Book of Leviticus 25 and 36 said, do not take any entrance or profit from him, but fear your power. You're not supposed to charge entrance to your countrymen. Why is the United States Corporation doing it? Because it's a factor, existing in fact, but not officially established. It's a de facto government. Again, in the book of Leviticus, what are we reading? The law, the law, the law, the real law. Leviticus 25 and 37 says you must not lend him your silver with entrance or sell him your food for profit. We're not supposed to do that to our brethren. Deuteronomy, Deprogrammed 23 and 19. Do not charge your brother entrance on money, food, or any type of loan. This means if I give Tyreek a loan for $100, I'm not supposed to expect 150 back because he paid me a month later. That's Esau's system. That's not our system. That is the de facto system. Book of Yeshaya 2 and 9 says, and the man bowed down, and the great man humbled himself. Therefore, forgive them not. See, the debtor, man. If you're a debtor, you're a slave. You are a slave. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something, man. For the Edomites that might be in the room, the Euro Gentiles, right? That might listen to this video. I don't give a damn how powerful you think you are, right? There's an elite few that control this damn world. And racism is systematically, strategically planned to control your ass. To keep you divided, to control you all. It doesn't matter. The NFAC is no damn better than the KKK. It's the same agenda. And who are they controlled by? The Jesuits, the papacy, the Illuminati, the Rothschilds. They're controlling their mindset. It doesn't matter if you're so-called Negro, black, colored, so-called Hispanic, so-called white, so-called Asian. You are legally a slave just as your parents were. Yeah, your parents too. Your parents too, young G. Just as your grandparents were. and great-grandparents were slaves. I don't give a damn if you're a European. You still a damn slave, man. Now, you may be lucky enough. Watch this. Watch this. I'm not a slave. I'm LeBron James. LeBron James is a damn slave. You understand? He's a damn slave, man. He don't act how they want him to act. They're going to cut off his salary, man. He's a damn slave. He got fiat currency, man. What's the boy's name that's so D-Wade, man? He's a damn slave. Don't matter what you are, man. I don't care how much paper you got. You're slaves. Now, you may be lucky enough to live like a LeBron James or D-Wade, or you may live on a pleasant plantation with other slaves in Beverly Hills. But you're managed by overseers. Officers. You're managed by their officers. You're managed by overseers, slaves, such as police. That's a damn overseer slave of the Illuminati. This is why we have the anti-police brutality commandos. There's other overseer slaves known as judges. That's a damn overseer slave. There's other overseer slaves called doctors. Other overseer slaves called politicians. Where few examples of slave cruelties occur. But they're still slaves. They're still slaves to an illuministic system, a deep state. You may be witnessing changes in the community population on the plantation, right? Which is part of the state slave plantation and the national slave plantation, where there is more crime, more misery, and more death. That's on the hood plantations. See, the fact that you are a slave, my good brother, is unquestionable. It is unquestionable. The only unknown is whether you will permit your children and their children also to grow as slaves. You're still a slave, man. Joe Moore, you're a slave too, man. But you stay with this commerce thing. You are slaves since 1933. Now, Dawada should be on this court, right? See, upon a new child being born, my good brother Will, the executor or the administrator of the higher estate willingly and knowingly convey the beneficial elements of the child as beneficiary into the first Sitike trust in the form of a registry number. By registering the name. You're not the name, Michael Brown. You're not the name. It's one of the first things I try and teach people at the seminars, right? When they register the name, thereby also creating a corporate person and denying the baby, the son or the daughter, any right as an owner of real property. Now, what did I just say? What I just said is with that birth certificate, Richard Stewart, you can't own a damn thing. You can't own no land until you become a secured party creditor. So praise be the Most High, Richard Stewart. You became a secured party creditor. Otherwise, you can't own land. You can't own anything. You cannot have any owner rights of real property. This live record of birth is a live birth record of a promissory note It is converted into a slave bond sold to the private reserve bank of the estate and then conveyed into a second and separate Tazadaq trust per child owned by the bank. The bank owns your child. Edward, the bank owns your child. 2, the bank owns your child, man. And so upon the promissory note not reaching maturity, and when it finally does reach the maturity, the bank being able to seize the slave child, a maritime lien is lawfully issued to salvage the lost property and itself monetized as currency, issued in series against the Tazadaq trust. That's you. That's your trust. That's what Renadette was calling the TDA. See, you're a slave, Second Hamid, since 1540, really. Not 1933, since 1540. And the creation of the first Tazadaq trust, deriving its power from the papal bull of the Roman cult. Comes from the papacy, man. The Pope Paul III of the same year, 1540. Don't believe me? Go and check it out for yourself, Cornelius. Go and check it out for yourself. See, whenever a child is baptized, and some of you call yourself Baptist, right? First of all, John wasn't a Baptist. He wasn't immersion. He immersed people in the water. Baptism. Where in the hell did that come from? See, when the first child, whenever a child is baptized and the baptism certificate is issued by the state at birth or the church, the parents have knowingly or unknowingly gifted, granted, and conveyed the soul of the baby to a third Tazadaq trust. How many of you been baptized? You got your damn Israelites on here. You got to be baptized. Don't you know? By doing that, you bird brain. I'm going to talk to you like this, man. You just created a third Tazadaq trust by going to get baptized. And it all goes back to the papacy, man. Pope John Paul III, man. That's your third Tazadaq trust right there when you get baptized, man. The trust owner is owned by the Roman cult, who's actually held the valuable property in its votes every cent. This is managed by the Temple Bar since 1540. And the subsequent bar association from the 19th century representing the reconstructed Gala is responsible for the Grim Reaper, for reaping the souls, or the salvage, also known as the salvation of souls. So therefore, under the UCC, slave laws, which most slave plantations of the world operate under, you can never own a house. They made UCC the law of the land. Stop me where I'm lying at, Solomon. You can never own a house under UCC slave laws. You must become a secure party creditor. How many years have I sentenced at? 12? 13? You can't own a house, man. Even though they trick you into believing that you own it, you don't own it the way that you think you do. You never really own your car, Ryan. Give the Secretary of State his damn car. You never really own your car. You don't own your boat. You rednecks don't own your boats. You talking about this my boat. And they come over here trying to take my boat and shoot them. You don't own your boat. You right next. You don't own it. You don't own any other object. Only have the benefit to use it. And indeed, you do not even own your own body. They own you. Your body is claimed to have been lawfully gifted by your parents at birth in the traditions of the old slave contracts, in which the slave baby had its feet and hands dipped in ink, or a drop of blood split on a commercial transactional document. We know it as the live record of birth, against what is called a CUSIP number is issued and sold to the central bank. Yes, the banks claim your flush, brother. The banks claim your flush, Will Sims. I know this all seems a shock, man. This is why Dewada should be on this court. The banks are indeed the modern slaves' owners. But who are the banksters? They're the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds. Those are the banksters, man. Top 13 bloodlines own you. You talk about it all the time, but do you really understand it? These banks are indeed the money slave owners, hiding indisputable facts upon which their money system is built from we, the people. Without you, they don't have any damn power, Will. That's why you gotta get it just over broke. For these people, they continue to function. You gotta get it just over broke, man. You may not realize you are a slave. My good brother Will, it's a Tazadaq. I ain't got no slave. Okay, man. I'll be part of T-Dot, man. But I'm not gonna let you call me no slave too many more times, man. Come on now, Salakia. No, Will. Real talk, man. You're a slave. You're a programming slave, Will. But you're still a slave. Just like the average damn doctor. He's a slave. Who rules them? The banksters. A lawyer's nothing but a damn slave. He's one of the slave controllers that work for the banksters of the plantations to control you slaves on a lower level. So you may not realize you're a slave under the slave laws of the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. But you may still erroneously believe you are a slave with more rights as used to be afforded under the common law. They tried to abolish the common law in 1933 without properly telling you any damn thing, warrior lord. See, the word common comes from the 14th century Latin communis. Communis, meaning to entrust, to commit, to burden, public duty, service, or obligation. Don't believe me, Will? You're a boy genius. Go and look it up for yourself. When it comes to this, Phil, Will, you don't know nothing, man. You gotta forget everything that you thought you knew in the college because they dumbed you down. They taught you to speak in common parlance, but right now I'm speaking in legalese. And most of you don't understand the damn thing that I'm saying, right? You go and look it up in Webster's dictionary. Better get yourself a Blackboard's 4 for earlier and get Tazadaq's books and DVDs. See, the word common law, it was created from the combination of two ancient pre-Vatican Latin words, com and commento. Com, commento. It means to entrust. And minas, meaning to burden. Public duty, service or obligation. So in other words, the real meaning of common as first form because of the creation of the Roman trust over the planet is the concept of voluntary servitude, or simply voluntary slavery, voluntary enslavement. You choose to be a slave. Common law is nothing more than the laws of voluntary servitude. That's all it is. I want the common law. Well, you better choose the laws of the Most High. The real common law is really the laws of the Most High. The laws of voluntary servitude. See, to the Roman court and the Venetian slave masters, it is the job of the overseer slaves to convince you that you're not slaves. So what does the black robe tell you? I don't bring that into this court. That's sovereign citizen madness. Well, I know for a fact I'm not a sovereign citizen. That is an oxymoron. How can one be both? A citizen is a subject, which is a slave. A sovereign is what the Most High created, not man. Genesis 1:28. Dominion over all. See, the common law still exists and has not been largely abolished and replaced with commercial law to confuse you. It's been replaced with this commercial law to confuse you, should I say, right? To give you false hope. In return, they are rewarded as loyal slaves. Bigger homes like LeBron James, like the other celebrities, like Jamie Foxx, like Will Smith. They're just damn slaves, man, with bigger homes. They're just on better plantations, but you're not free. I got a question for you, my good brother Ryan Gunjbar. A free man should be able to go anywhere he want to go in this world, right? Why in the hell do we need a passport to go from America to a different country? Why we need a passport if we're free? Why do I need permission? Because a passport is permission. We're not free, man. We're not free. So if you happen to be one of those slaves under the sounds of my voice right now, that's a celebrity in the Hollywood, you're not free. You're just on a bigger plantation, Dodo. Do you understand? You're just on a bigger plantation, a better plantation. See, the reason why these overseers, right? Slaves such as judges, politicians, bankers, actors, people in the media, all of these personalities, they are forced to lie and to deny we are all slaves is because the slave system of voluntary servitude or common law was not the first global slave system, but merely it's the evolution. See, before the emergence of the common law, we were all subjects to being considered mere animals or things under the canon law of the Roman cult, from which comes the papacy, the Jesuits, the Pope, also known as the law of the sea or maritime admiralty law. That's Roman law. You're a damn slave, man. See, under the maritime admiralty law, you're either a slave of the ship of state or merely cargo for lawful salvage. And so knowing
It's 6 o'clock.
Knowing thus, in 1302, through Unum Sanctum, the Roman cult, the papacy, the Jesuits, unlawfully claimed through the trust the ownership of all the planet and all living things as either slaves or less than slaves, with things administered through the court of Rota. See, this court claimed as the supreme court of all courts on the planet was initially abolished in the 16th century, only to be returned in 1908 under the Pope plus Pope Pius X as a purely spiritual ecclesiastical court of 12 apocalyptic spirits, implying the 12 apostles, which is blasphemy. Don't believe me? Go and check it out for yourself. Go and check it out for yourself, Ryan. Go and check out the court of Rota. I can't make this up, man. Go and check out the court of Rota in 1908 under Pope Pius X. I'm not making this up, man. I got better things to do with my time, man. I'm trying to educate you for right knowledge in wrong times. This is right knowledge. This is how it's work, man. And they can't stop this truth, man. Hat's falling off, man. So go and check it out for yourself, man. The corner Rota. You're going to find that every damn thing that I'm telling you is right. Not one person came back to me once in 12 years and say, Tazadaq, you lied to me. All of them had to come back and say, you was right, man. The Most High got to be moving with you. I said, praise be the Most High. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbaraka. So since then, this new purely spiritual court has remained in constant session, with the local courts using these powers to administer divine immortal spirits expressed in the trust into flesh vessels as mere dead things. You're dead. You're dead at sea. You're a dead thing. Why is your name's written in all capital letters, just like on the tombstone? This is why, Ryan, when the black robe comes into his court in his priestly black robe, he's representing Rome. And you're all dead. He knows this. So what do they say? All rise for the Honorable Judge Poopy Pants. And you all get up. What's happening when you rise? When he says all rise and you all stand up, guess what happened? You, the living soul, just took the place of the dead thing. Now all of the charges is coming against you. They didn't have you before that. You just gave them jurisdiction with a damn action without opening your mouth. You can't even call me a liar, man. Now go and check it out for yourself. And you wonder why you've been losing in court, man. Now you see why it's so important to get these books, man. I do this for love. You need the books and the DVDs, man. Yet there's only one form of slave law still enforced today. See, instead of the oldest, the most evil, and based on false history or the slave laws of the Mishnah. Tazadaq, did you say Mishnah? You damn right I said Mishnah. Who you think these banksters are? The banksters are Zionists. The banksters are Zionists. And the wickedest law on the books or the slave laws of the Mishnah, also known as the Rabbi, through the unholy document of a hate first formed in 333, also known as the Talmud of the Mishnah. These people are not real Israelites, man. They know it. That's why they call themselves Jewish. Not Yahudi. Not Yahweh. I'm talking about Zionists, man. I'm talking about people that's controlling the world. I'm talking about the banksters, man. Those are the wickedest laws on the books, man. They're not Israelites, man. You're looking at a true Israelite. Now, through the Talmud, of the false Israelites, the Zionists, the banksters, the whole planet is enslaved. That's who's controlling the world. The banksters, man. How come nobody can say who the damn Illuminati really is, man? It's the banksters. They're Zionists. The Mishnah. The whole planet's enslaved by them, man. And know what they got you doing? You hate Ryan because he's a so-called Hispanic. Ryan hates Nicholas Carefoot because he's an Edomite. Nicholas Carefoot hates Tazadaq because I'm an Israelite, what you call a so-called black man. Who's responsible for it? The Zionists, the Mishnah. Controlling the world, man. These are the banksters. This is the Illuminati, man. They keep you all divided, man, in order to continue to conquer you. All nations are divided because of them. The Black Pope. So the whole planet is enslaved with the servants of the chosen people known as what? The knights. You know what they call us, man? They call us Goyim, meaning cattle. Dead, lifeless corpse. So to them, you're a Goyim. You're damn cattle. I can't make it up, man. I got a damn copy of the Talmud. Oh, they don't like this conversation, man. So ultimately, you're a slave because you remain profoundly influenced by your education. Well, say, yeah, I articulated a degree in computer programming. So Will Sims is saying. So wow, they're just making a better slave man on these plantations. So the educational system and the community at large makes you a better slave because many you choose to continue to think and act like a slave. When I try to do something to change your mind through the spirit, I get rebellion, man. Scripture saying 1 Samuel 15:23, rebellion is like the sin of witchcraft. You buck up, you rebel against it. You don't want to hear the truth? What are you doing? You waiting for someone to help you? Tell you what to do to be happy? Aren't you tired of accepting damn bread and crumbs of benefits when the system has reaped millions of dollars? Aren't you tired waiting on a damn stimulus check, man? They reap millions and billions of dollars off of your energy, Jamie. This is a damn prison, man, and it's designed with no way out. Cornelius, if you keep going your way. See, before this time, the system of global slavery and the treatment of the world as one large slave plantation was designed so there is no way out. But wait a minute. The Most High is raising up certain men, man. Is there any way out through the court system? Court systems fill a priest of Baal. These priests, these judges are priests of Baal. You know it in the Masonry, man. You know in there to Illuminati, man. Those are priests of Baal. Now I'm talking about the judges, man. Those are priests of Baal, Nimrod. Known also as judges of the most legal system in the world. Not just in America. Even the most educated of men and women remain tricked into believing that upon self-representation, they may claim their common law rights as a means of defense, only to find out the judge lawfully rejects any and all claims. Stop me where I'm lying at. How many of you been in the court and the judge rejected all your claims? See, as the first law of the court is the Uniform Commercial Code today. The Uniform Commercial Code of Slavery, as introduced in 1933. The defendant is an employee of a corporation and therefore automatically assumes the liability of an injury unless they can pay. If you can't pay, you're going to prison, man. You get locked up. Stop me where I'm lying at. This is a damn trickster system, man. It's chicanery. This is a trickster system. They're dealing with chicanery. You got a damn trickster as a judge. And if this trickster is challenged, they are permitted to escape to their chambers and call upon even greater powers to return and magically establish a new court. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Come on, man. You've seen the YouTube videos, right? A so-called sovereign citizen chops up the damn judge, right? What does the judge do? He gets up. He runs to the damn judge's chamber. What is he doing? He establishes a new court when he comes back. He lost, man. He returns magically establish a new court without telling the defendant that they have now entered a maritime admiralty court or the laws of the sea in accordance with the canon law of the Roman court issued in 1983. See, now the judge can impose grave penalties upon such an unresponsive defendant, including contempt of court, which is one of their favorite things, and other punitive prison sentences, with the defendant having no rights unless they know canon law concerning juridic persons, and establishing standing above being a thing. This is why the book's so important. This is why, first, you need to be a creditor. And sadly, it's woefully sad, few people actually know the original meaning of thing. What's the meaning of thing? Well, see if college taught you, man. See, as a judicial meeting or assembly, a matter brought before a court of law, a legal process, a charge brought, or a suit, or a cause pleaded before the court. So this means thing. So this meaning is then used with devastating effect through the concept of Pope Pius X from 1908 to claim the dead apostles sit in permanent and open session as the 12 people that you see sitting. Discuss Rota as the so-called highest supreme court on the planet. So when a man or a woman receives a blue or a yellow notice from a court issued through this unholy knowledge of canon law, by the time they come to court, they are automatically a thing. When a man or a woman seeks to defend themselves by seeking to speak before the judge, they automatically consent to being a thing. And knowing thus, a judge with knowledge of such trickery consents silence any man or woman by lawfully threatening contempt of court if the thing does not stop making noise. Now stop me where I'm lying at. Stop me where I'm lying at. So it is, in fact, Roman court canon law of 1983 that establishes all courts or oratories with judges holding ecclesiastical powers as ordinaries and their chambers as chapels. Now you tell me that this is not a damn code. And so knowing thus, the Bar Association around the world have assisted judges in the learning of this new power in order to counter those men and those women who continue to wake up to their statuses as slaves, but demonstrating how to remain in honor. And so with such perverse law, it ensures such terrorists, because they deem you a domestic terrorist. So it ensures that such terrorists are sent to prison for long sentences as a warning to others. So what do? You back down. You get afraid. If a judge is so inclined to ensure an educated defendant is lawfully sent to prison or worse, he or she may run away for a third and a final time to their chamber and then invoke their most powerful standing as rabbi of the Talmud court under the Talmudic law of the false Israelites of the house of the 12 tribes of Manasseh, the Mishnah. Now, even a judge in a nation that is against the death penalty may choose to impose a lawful sentence against a Goyim who dares injure an Israelite, which is normally death, according to the Talmud. However, while the judge in the United States and other nations have stated and started to be trained in the reimposition of this Talmudic law, it is at the hands of the false Mishnah, also known as the anti-Semitic parasites, also known as the Black Khazars, the Venetian noble families. Don't believe me, please check this stuff out, what I'm telling you, man. So ultimately, it is enough for judges, clerks, members of the bar to know that they hold our property in their syndicate trust, and that we are completely without effective rights until we challenge their fraud by becoming secure party creditors and learning how to move as a creditor. Yet, when you challenge their fraud, many deny and outright lie on the records. It's a fact. Judges absolutely commit perjury on the record to deny that they hold trustee and executive powers, with the case being a constructed trust, an executor of the syndicate trust, from which powers are being drawn for the form of the court in general. So Tazadaq, what is the solution? Ecclesiastical depot again is permitted to be issued when an inferior Roman person rejects the rules of law and seeks to assert an untenable and illogical position of superior rights over divine law. See, only a true living soul may issue an ecclesiastical depot. A debtor can't issue an ecclesiastical depot. What's that guy named Israel? Yahudi. No, not Yahudi. Jahudi, right? Jahudi talking about he done an ecclesiastical. How the hell are you going to do an ecclesiastical depot in a debtor status? Only a living soul could do that. Only a real man could do an ecclesiastical deed poll. So the first thing you got to do is change your status. I listen to people talk, man, and I listen to the damn buffoonery and how they just they mislead people, man. Only a real man and a Greek man can do an ecclesiastical big deed poll. You understand? Not a debtor. See, by definition, an inferior Roman person has no authority to issue an ecclesiastical deed poll. Are you from Rome? You can't do an ecclesiastical deed poll. See, when an ecclesiastical deed poll is issued, it is under the supreme court of one heaven with the full authority of the divine creator, Yahweh, and all inferior courts, including the scarce rota, is under it. Hence, the term per curum davana is always included to make clear the inferior Roman person the absolute authority of the instrument. So while a aggrieved man, a living soul, issues an ecclesiastical deed poll, it is ultimately divine notice of protest and dishonor from the divine creator, Yahweh. And therefore, the dishonor of an ecclesiastical deed poll is the most grievous injury of law and blasphemy to all believed to be divine. See, when a Roman slave under the inferior Roman law repudiates a valid ecclesiastical deed poll, then by definition, all acts undertaken with the assumed authority of the scarce rota by any clerk, by any protonary, by any minister, are null and void, including and not limited to warrants, summons, orders, or decrees, because the Most High is all powerful. So with that being said, before I clear this out, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to do an ecclesiastical deed poll before I shut this down. Let me share my screen. And this channel is not monetized. Your donations will be greatly appreciated. Let me put a Cash App. This is one of the most powerful things you could do. It's this ecclesiastical deed poll. So your thumbs up is appreciated. And again, as you come in the room, go ahead and give a thumbs up. I see we got 60-some people, right? And how is it we only got 38 thumbs up? Shame on you. You really should be ashamed of yourself. You're here getting this free, valid information. You haven't made a donation, not one single one of you, and you haven't given it a thumbs up. Don't you realize to give a thumbs up and to subscribe is free? That's free. It requires nothing of you. It would be even better if you made a donation at the Cash App address that's in the room. But nevertheless, let me share my screen. Half of you are not even worthy of it, but I'll do it for those that are. I'm going to share my screen here. Trust you can see this. Let me see. A second. Let's pop up here. Ecclesiastical deed poll. So as you come in the room, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Okay, yeah, you can read this. See what I'm doing for you? Guess what? It's free. That's the price everyone agree with. All right. Per Karama Divina. We, the divine immortal spirit, you put Yahweh there if you want to, express and trust to the living flesh known as Tazadaq Shah. You put your name there. Of the clan, surname. It's my clan, Shah. Hereby give a life and personality to this scarce, irrevocable deed through our soul and blood and agreement to the conveyance and terms pronounced herein. Number one, we have expressed and trust our real property, and while no consent has been given, nor protest otherwise made that such conveyance is unlawful, we bring attention to our mistake of fact by failing to give proper notice to our competent living status. And two, our actions and this instrument make our status clear. Any temporary testamentary trust, sitike, cuvine, are derivative thereof, form upon such errors or presumptions as our abandonment, loss, death, or incompetency, must be immediately dissolved, including a full account provided to us without delay. And number three, to ensure that further mistakes are made by any party, we give further notice that all acts in commerce or law we engage as surety or our trust, Tazadaq, clan name Shah, and kindly ask you to update your records. And furthermore, we gratefully decline any offer or coercive punitive benefits. Remember that. We don't want their offers, we don't want their benefits. Their school systems is a benefit. Their contracts, despite the language, is always just an offer. You got to look at everything as an offer. Benefits from any and all estates which you and your colleagues administer. As a result, any charges sent to us by mistake will be duly returned to you for discharge in accordance with law. And number five, we have given proper notice that we have ceased from any further injury. You acknowledge that no further demand, debts, or actions shall be issued against us in claiming injury as a surety to the property you administer. And receipt of the deed poll is your acknowledgement and acceptance. Thumbprint, the most powerful seal that you could actually have is your thumbprint. This is the most powerful seal in the world. Name, position, detail, Roman officer that issued the summons, we put it there. Now we quote some of the canon. Canon law, 1553. An ecclesiastical deed poll is a valid form of deed poll and therefore a deed and contract whereby a true person first expresses, affirms, and conveys certain rights to another party who are then lawfully bound upon proof of receipt. So all we got to do is send it to them. Canon law, 1554. An ecclesiastical deed poll is primarily different from a standard deed poll in that a true person invokes their divine rights conveyed on robin egg blue paper and sealed in blood to a Roman person who has sought to usurp or abrogate these rights. Canon 1555. An ecclesiastical deed poll. I'm actually not going to read all of these. I'll leave it up here for a second so you can see them. As you see, as the years persist, the verbiage somewhat changes. So you see 1556, 1557, it read this. 1558. Want to read it for yourself, you can pause the screen upon re-watching the video 5 times. 1559, such was the verbiage. 1560. 1561. 1562. And 1563. As you see, it goes to 1565 before they changed it again. Then, of course, 66, 67. Just trying to leave it here long enough so when you're rewatching the video, you can pause it and you can read it. They're just simply changing the verbiage of it as the years proceed. I think I'll read that. Canon 1568, no bolding or underlining the words is permitted, nor the editing of words except the replacement of words indicated in brackets, including brackets themselves. Canon 1569, no reference to these canons when heaven or Eucadia are required on an ecclesiastical depot as the instrument is between a true person, the divine creator, the official of the inferior judic person who dares defy and worship their own lords. So if the system is attempting to worship its own lords, which mostly they are, then would not an ecclesiastical depot be the way to go? I contend that it is. They're throwing UCC codes at you and even more. But this is a way out. So again, I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to suggest that you become security party creditors. Get the books, and DVDs, learn to stand up for yourselves. And again, as you come into the room, we got 60 people on the call. We only got 47 thumbs up. Come into the room, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Do a donation this way. And so I'm talking literally over an hour. But a lot of valid information. Go back and watch this video at least 5 times to get what you really need from this video. Just watching it once, it's never good enough. Twice, it's not good enough. You got to watch it in repetition, because each time you watch it, you're going to get something new that you thought you heard before. And so with that, I'm going to bring this to a close. I highly encourage you all to become secure party creditors now. If you're not already, and if you are, I highly, highly encourage you to get the books and DVDs to change your perception on the way that you see this world. Everything that they're showing you is a facade. But when you pull the curtains back, you see it's all just an act. When you pull the curtains back, you're able to see all of these actors and actresses without their makeup and without their costumes. So, as you see right here, Cornelius, you're asking how. My wife put the link in the room right there under KO, your pa, KOS, your pa. You click on that link to become a secure party creditor, or you could go to www.true TrueDisciplesOfChrist.org/shop. You can donate for the books and DVDs. The DVDs are on the website, good brother Richard. But the whole seminar DVDs are on the website. Got some 10-hour DVDs on that website. And so with that, I'm going to say shalom and stay strong, man. Stand up as a man. There's one thing I am, is an aggrieved man. Creditors always win, debtors always lose. Which are you? Shalom.